back. Oh my God.
Bachelor talk.
I know. You know what? We're getting a little schmando every week because we're both obsessed with the Golden
Let's not
Bachelor.
say obsessed.
I do love it. I think it's wholesome. I think it's a great show for TV right now. It's a down period in television because obviously the strike, we don't have any new HBO Succession, Game of Thrones. Hey, what was that? What was the prequel to Game of Thrones? Remember that we
House
watched?
of Dragons.
House of Dragons. Right.
I think a new
More
season's
incest.
coming. I think there's a new season coming out.
Oh, good. Oh, I love these incestuous shows. Okay. So here, the Golden Bachelor, I think, is thriving. Everywhere I go, I'm trying to think of where I went recently. I was talking to people about what they were watching on television. And someone said they loved the Golden Bachelor. They find it sweet. They like Gerry Turner.
I put it right there with shows like Welcome to Plathville, and where there's stuff happening, but there isn't really a lot happening.
Hey, don't you come for my TLC shows. I love my TLC shows.
They're
So I've dropped off a little bit, even on Welcome to Plathville. First of all, I do too many recaps. Like Sister Wives is all I can handle. I'm obsessed. Cody Brown,
Cody's the best.
We're never going to get a narcissist on camera like that who will say everything he says, unfiltered, doesn't give a fuck if people like him or not. Like that, he's such a gem, whether he's the best TV villain.
If I had 4 wives, I would probably be the same way.
I always say, you are welcome to do polygamy. I would love to see you with any other woman. Schman, please.
You are plenty, and that's all I need and all I can handle.
Also, I think most men don't even want 4 women. Like you, love women. I'm not saying you're misogynist, but you one's plenty.
I need my me time. I don't know what Cody does for his time.
If it wasn't me, you would do the Den of Dudes. You would just get a bunch of guys together. You would love to live in
like a frat house. It'd be awesome.
In Manhattan
We'd be
Beach.
Grilling out every night. It'd be awesome. Mm-hmm.
You would love to be.
Bro.
You would love to be in Manhattan Beach in a house with some dudes, and you guys all bring your kids over.
Let's watch some football, bro.
Oh, you'd love it. We had to bro out last night. What do we have to watch? The Bills play the.
Watch the Giants and the Bills. Sunday Night Football.
Anyway. So look, episode 3 just went down, and we do love to watch this show together. I am obsessed with Gerry Turner. He's so sweet. At first, I thought he had no substance. Last week, I liked him. I thought he was a good judge of talent at the talent show.
I think so too. He did all right. He's still, I'll credit the Bachelor producers and directors for their creative editing to lead us with him crying to start the episode. And then we're like, whoa, what happened? What a teaser. I mean, it hooks you in. It's not just like a chronological story. I mean, I appreciate their storytelling ability there. But the guys, he is a little too nice. It's like,
no, he's seasoned. He's 72. He's been through tragedy. They all have. They're looking for that last shot at love.
That's true. They're all desperate. No, they are.
Well, look, the big thing about episode 3 was the talent show.
Mm-hmm.
They all had to do a talent show for Gerry.
Is that the big thing?
Well, we do have a villain. I mean, villain.
There's a lot that happened this episode.
All right. Well, you recap.
Well, first off, there was a talent show where they all had to perform, and some of them were a little more engaging than others. I think the highlights were, was it Sandra and her karate skills?
Oh my God. Sandra is the best. I don't want her to go. The New Jersey hairdresser who's big boned and just got out there. And
just started breaking boards. Because that's what I look for in a woman.
Gerry was terrified.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I loved her. And then, well, of course,
Sandra was doing the jokes. It was, hold on.
Sandra did the joke. She did a good job.
Susan did the karate stuff.
Susan, that's right. Susan did karate. Sandra did the jokes, which was really cute. Now, Leslie did the dance routine that we thought brought down the house. I mean, the women were disgusted. She
did a little erotic dancing, it wasn't quite a lap dance, but it was not PG, I would say.
And boy, the women had looks. Mm-hmm. They were not happy about how flexible Leslie was in her 60s.
I think she's too much woman for Gerry.
I do too. I mean, when you look at Gerry's first wife, She wasn't out there giving people the lap dances. There's no way.
I think Leslie might have overdone it. She needs to dial it back a little bit if she wants to win Gerry's heart.
Now, what did you think of Joan? Joan won him over with the, I just don't want to vomit on my shoes.
Oh, the poem or the, it was cute, good for her for being able to step forward and give a performance when that's not really in her wheelhouse. But, I don't grade on the scale here. Give me what you got. The jokes that Sandra told, or the, I think it was Faith did a guitar song. Kathy was doing push-ups. That's not really a talent.
No.
I mean, granted, she's 70 years old doing push-ups.
That's a talent, actually. You're right. I take it back. That's a talent.
There were definitely some skills being shown. So good on them.
All right. So what did you think of, did you think that Joan was the one? Because of course the producers lead us to believe, he's crying at the beginning of the episode. And then of course we find out Joan's daughter just had a baby, had a C-section, obviously
complicated pregnancy,
complications. Yep. Joan gets a phone call from her. Things are, not going as they want. So Joan decides to leave. Do you think Joan was the one?
No.
Really?
I don't.
Oh, I think he was crying because I think Joan was like one of the finalists.
Gerry is a flavor, not even a flavor of the month, flavor of the hour, right? He has the one-on-one date with Teresa. And he's like, oh, I really bonded with Teresa. And then he goes on, he has the date with Faith. Oh, I really love, like Gerry is a kid in a candy shop and he doesn't know what he wants right now. So while he did have a nice date with her, I don't think she's the one.
Okay. Well, is anybody standing out to you then?
I still think Faith is an option. She's the one who had the first date and played the guitar.
Me too. Rode in on the motorcycle.
Yeah, I think she's got it.
Big time.
I think Ellen, who's kind of like the older blonde-haired lady.
He does love.
I think he likes her.
Yep.
Joan, I think, was a contender, but I don't think she was going to fit what he was looking for. But there's still a lot of shows left.
I love that she was from Rockville, Maryland, by the way, Joan. I feel like I met Joan at a radio event anyway.
Well, I know there's a lot of people who are in the DMV area listening here, but the thing I felt bad about her is not that she had to leave the show early, is that she had to go back to Rockville, Maryland. Hey now.
I love Rockville. I worked there for many years.
Yeah.
I feel like I met Joan at an Adam Levine concert. Anyway, what do you make of Kathy emerging as the villain?
I think, well, let's digest this, shall we? I think Kathy, if I had someone I was living with who just kept going on and on about one date, being how like transformational everything was and really connected, be like, bruh, you had one date. Let's pump your brakes here. Okay. So there, I get that piece.
Wow,
and then of course, but at the same time, it's like, what else are you doing in the Bachelor mansion? You're sitting around, you're gabbing, you're talking about stuff. So she was probably, jealous and maybe upset, but the way she went after Teresa, if I had to say, am I team Kathy or team Teresa? I am team Teresa in this ordeal. I feel like she tried to gaslight Teresa and try to make her, but it's funny, right? Because these are the type of bickering things, I think older people get into because they just, they're all kind of crotchety and they tend to have their conflicts.
I think people of all ages get into it. I mean, we watched one season of the regular Bachelor and that was nothing but tears and the backstabbing and it's just so petty though, that like Kathy would go to Gerry and tell Gerry, there's unrest.
Yes.
In the hen house, give me a break. And Gary's like, well, I'll put a stop to that.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite. And I know like my Bachelor knowledge is limited, but whenever the contender is like, well, I'll speak to that. It's like, come on, guys, this is stupid, but it's fun to watch.
Right. But right now, Gerry has his guard up about Teresa. He thinks I think the way they're editing it is that Gerry thinks Teresa could be a potential problem.
She's poisoned the well.
Yeah, I think what Gerry thinks.
Kathy's bringing the whole house down with her.
Kathy's going to be a good villain, and I think she's going to have to stay now for a couple more episodes to keep the fire going.
Gerry finds out that she was the rabble rouser.
I hope Susan and Kathy do a karate. Like, I hope Susan takes her down with karate.
Oh, Susan would clear. I mean, I don't care how many push-ups Kathy can do. Susan is breaking boards, and watch out. Making meatballs and breaking boards.
You also had a theory that Gerry is wearing a toupee.
He is. I don't know if you know this about me, but I don't have hair.
You don't.
And I love hair pieces. Okay. I think the more outlandish they can be, the better.
All right.
And if you look at Gerry's hairline, there is a disconnect from the hair around his head to the hair that's on top of his head. And I'm not sure if this is one of those glued on pieces or one of the ones that have like the snaps. Have you ever seen those where you snap it on?
But now you don't need to, because we have a friend that went to Turkey and got
I understand that, but we're talking about Gerry, who probably has been rocking this hairpiece for 20 years now. And you just got to like freeze the frame, and you'll see where there's a little disconnect. And then also where there's like a little overlap that goes from the top of his head down to the back. I think he's got a hairpiece.
I don't know. I'm 50-50 on that one. But we'll need to find out.
No 72-year-old, first off, has a head of hair that looks like that. It's definitely a dye job. But
they all
that goes to it. But I think he's got a hairpiece.
Any other observations so far from The Golden Bachelor and episode 3?
Well, feel bad for Joan. She gave it a go.
Adios. You would have left. You would have left.
Yeah, absolutely. If kids need you. I mean, it's like, was she really going to find love with Gerry? Maybe the odds were not in her favor, though, when you think about it. But you got to go do, family first. And maybe she's going to parlay that into becoming the Golden Bachelorette for future seasons.
She'd be good. She'd be good. Is this show getting renewed?
Well, ABC is always going to run a Bachelor. I mean, it's a gift that keeps on giving. Are they going to do another?
The Golden Bachelorette.
16, 70-year-olds. We'll see. I don't know what the ratings are.
No, well, the ratings I think have still been amazing. Like, I think the ratings have been good.
Nothing on TV,
right? I mean, it's kind of a hard landscape to.
What else? We had the villains. We had Gerry's toupee. Well, we were talking about this on the talent show. What would your talent have been?
Well, I would have done stand-up. I mean, I have a stand-up set about my weight and our marriage. I mean, I guess at this point we either would have been divorced or,
deceased.
Right. So, I mean, I guess I would have done jokes about you. I mean, I don't know that my comedy would have hit for Gerry, but.
No, I don't think Gary's your audience. I think you would have played yourself out right there. Would have been too much.
I would do a stand-up set. What would yours be?
Is it me, or am I a 70-year-old woman?
No, okay, if Joan is the Golden Bachelorette, what are you doing as a Bachelor contestant?
I think I'm shooting ping pong balls out of my hoo-ha. Just.
I love that you were. I know. I mean, you give such funny commentary when the show is on. How you would queef, that would be.
Yeah, just put the mic right there and great. Here you go, Gerry, and go full X-rated. See what those ABC censors have to say.
If you could queef it up, that would be so good.
That's where when what's her face was doing.
You do soccer skills.
What's her face was telling jokes. Sandra was doing jokes. I would have gone blue like Andrew Dice Clay.
I know.
Hickory dickory dock.